Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real.
Good morning to you lovely people. How is it going?
It's going.
All right, I heard that, Nick. I mean, a lot of people got a lot of things going on. And it's like, we're going to make it happen. We showed up. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. Today's going to be a fun-filled day. But before we get started with the show, how was you guys this week? Anything fun and interesting?
Fun and interesting. Yeah, a lot of interesting. I don't know if it was so much fun.
What?
Very interesting.
Okay.
That's a different topic for another time.
All right. What about you, Amber? You there? Amber is not there, but let me tell you.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can hear you fine. You were froze, but that's okay. Because I think it's an excellent thing, honestly. Amber went to visit some special people for Easter. But here's what's good about what she said. So she's having some internet problems for our Zoom, but we can still hear her, I think. And here's what's good. She's out in the country with no internet. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably what we need now.
Mm-hmm.
We probably need
to the basics.
Back to the basics. It's like, how important is this? Is the internet? And have we actually become so accustomed to having the internet that we're like, how do we function?
Exactly. Like, it's like we're so dependent on the digital world now. Like, we've forgotten about everything prior to. And the kids, they would really be lost. Like, kids don't know what a regular telephone is. You show them what a phone is, they look at you like crazy. Especially the rotary phone. Remember that?
Yes.
Every time you mess up, you had to read
start all over that. Right. Like, no back, none of that. Hey, Amber. Amber, can you hear us?
A little bit.
Okay. How is it being there with no internet?
It's different. I would say that also, like, GPS, people don't know how to read maps anymore because you're so accustomed to utilizing GPS. Same with, like, kids not knowing how to use like manual time. Just with having like digital clocks and everything. So
right.
Interesting.
So you weren't on the internet the whole week, like yesterday? About to be the weekend because it's Saturday.
No, we just got in last night. We just came in last night. So yeah. I mean, I have my mobile data on my phone, but that's not the same as like proper internet. So.
Like you said, which means when you're out in the country, you better take a map because what's the little thing? I have the Waze, and it just dropped like you're done. You're like, do I keep straight? What do I do?
Right. You go into panic mode. Like, wait a minute, what happened? And you start tapping the screen. What's going on?
Right. Hey, listen, we're going to talk about all the hot topics that's going on right now. And it is a lot. Sorry, guys. I'm like, I had to eat something. I'm like starving Marvin. You keep going and going and going. Mm-hmm. I guess my body was like, pause. We're not going to be doing that right now. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Cam Newton. He was talking about bad bees. Nick, you want to say exactly what I'm saying?
Bad bitches.
Yeah, all right. She got my bag. So that's what he was talking about that. And he was saying that a bad bee has to know how to cook. Let me get the number across the screen real quick. For the listeners, the phone number here is 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. Feel free to call in and weigh in on this. So he was saying bad bees aren't bad bees. And let me interpret it. Bad bees, they changed the narrative on that. Because that was like, oh, I'm not calling myself a bad bee. How is that? You know what I mean? How is that a compliment? But the way that they changed the narrative now for my people 40 and up, or like me, I'm going to keep you together. They're boss bees. Now, so they still kept the B word, but boss bees now. So you ain't no boss if you don't know how to cook. This is what Cam Newton said, okay? I'm going to say alleged just to cover me in case somebody, with all these computer things, they can change things. But it was on the podcast. Anyway, that's what he was saying. And he was saying what he grew up with real women. And they can cook, clean, and support their man. And they knew when to support their men. And he classified that as being a boss. However, I had my thoughts with him with all his children. But I ain't say nothing, though.
Yeah.
I ain't say nothing. I just looked and was like, good nerve. That's what we doing today, Now, he was saying, so he wants you to be the traditional, and this is what I'm gathering. I'm paraphrasing and these are my thoughts. He wants you to be the traditional wife. And I'm saying wife, but he ain't say wife. He said the women. So he wants the traditional housewife. I'm using air quotes for a listening audience. Wife, but you could be bad like out in the street and do you and look good and, your confidence, come out there. I'm doing this. I'm a bad bee and I know how to cater to my man. So that's my interpretation. And that's exactly what he said. So y'all can look it up now and, Google him later after the show. What's your thoughts on catering to your man and saying that they have to know how to cook in order to be a boss or classify themselves as boss bees or a boss woman? What's your thoughts on that, people? And go ahead.
Cam Newton better have several seats. You don't have to know how to cook to be a boss. A boss is knowing how to take care of business, yes. But that don't include cooking because there's a lot of people that don't know how to cook, but they run businesses, they run companies, they got their own business, they doing the thing, taking care of business. That's a boss. Just because you don't know how to cook, that don't classify it as not being a boss. So Cam needs to go on somewhere and have several seats. I forgot. The views of Nick the Voice do not reflect the views of ShopTalkwithMel and staff.
Thank you. Go ahead, Amber. What you got?
Put that disclaimer out there for you, Mel.
Thank you.
But yeah, he is weird. So we better go on somewhere. Sit down. Sit down. Like the old folks say, don't go somewhere. Sit down.
Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear me good or not, so I've been typing my comments in the box, just to be clear, but I completely agree with Nick. He is literally discussing women, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with being a traditional woman that knows how to cook and clean, you want to be a stay-at-home wife, all that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
He himself is not qualified for a traditional woman, okay? Because what godly, dignified, respectable, woman is going to want to deal with a man that got multiple baby mamas by multiple children, who, like Nick said, he's weird. He has a feminine energy himself, but he's going to speak on desiring a traditional woman, and he's not even a traditional man. He doesn't even uphold any morals or standards or values within his own personal life, and his gaggle of children and baby mamas reflect that.
Not gaggle.
A gaggle. It's a gaggle. You're not in a position to speak, and it's a certain demographic of men. They desire traditional women. They desire traditional gender roles that they can't adhere to themselves as men.
Exactly.
And what it comes down to is they want a woman to do 1.5 roles while he does half of one role.
School's in.
Just fool 'em. Listen, and you know what we say to those type of men? Boy, bye.
Yeah.
So you know that I ain't no boy, I'm a man. Nah, talking like that, you a boy. Boy, bye.
Now, I like the fact that, she brought up, they do want you to do 1.5 roles. But here's what's interesting. Let's rewind this. So when you meet a female, I wish we can you guys got some fellas, some cousins or whatever. Tag them in this. Because I want to know what the men actually think. Talk to me. Because here's the thing. When you first meet, I'm not a male, but when you first meet a female, and I'm just speaking because I'm watching, do you really ask that question at first? Say you're kicking it out in the public and you look and be like, oh, wow, I wonder if she could cook. Is that your first attraction? Do you look at her body and see if she got the recipes under the bottom? Because these were the recipes hide. Now, if you got the swing, if you got the wing up under the arm, then that's how you could cook. But I'm wondering, do the fellas actually look and be like, she got the recipes? I'm going to go holler at her. You know what I'm saying? No, they're looking at her, to me, and I'm not going to say all, not a blanket statement, but I just got to talk. You're looking at her like, oh, okay, she fly. Do you look like, oh, yeah, I would like to have sex with her? Okay, so she gives you what you want. Okay, this is a hookup. Let's say we meet up at the club, and I'm not just classifying all people that go to the club. They just lay out. I got to cover myself because y'all crazy with the cancel culture. Okay? But do you look, okay, y'all sleep together. Then you're going to say, after you get what you want, air quotes, then you want a sandwich? You want her to cook for you? And then you shocked because she can't cook? But is that how you came to her? That's what I'm saying. Did you present yourself and say, I see you got the bat wings. I'm wondering if I look like you could cook. Because we know they look at the booty. But that means they can eat. But can you cook? So my thing is, when you sit there, and that's what happens. I was talking to a few of my guys, but I want the rest of y'all to come on and chime in here. Where they were saying, after sex, they can't even get a fried bologna sandwich. That's what one said. What did you ask that question before you laid down? You met her at the club. You expected? Like, I'm confused. You know what I mean? I'm confused on that. And even with when they, we're always blamed as changing it. This is what it was. This is what it was supposed to be. We want a relationship. Well, no, y'all just changed your mind. That's not what it was. It was supposed to be just me and you hooking up, right? That's from a male's perspective. Some of the guys told me it's just a hookup, but then y'all want to go and be in a committed relationship. Isn't that the same thing when, okay, it's a hookup and you want me to cook for you? Somewhere there's some miscommunication. That's not what was planned. So do you think it was expected?
With a lot of them, I do think they expect that, but because if you expect me to cook, what you gonna do for me? I need some money to go get the groceries. How about that? And you willing to give that up? Because if you ain't willing to give it up, then I'm not cooking for you. Period, point blank. It is what it is. This was a booty call, and you don't get meals with a booty call. You get the booty and you just go on home.
Okay, I feel that, and you're right. Because it's like
a lot of them think you're supposed to cook a breakfast and everything else the next day. Boy, bye. You don't go somewhere. You was a creep. Yeah. Sneaky link. That perks don't come with being a sneaky link. Goodbye.
So do you think we need to be the ones to say, should we say up front? Because, we're guilty of saying up front what we really want. Don't expect a meal. Should we or should we not? Because here's the thing. They don't tell us that I'm not looking for a relationship at the very beginning. Most don't. When you go home. So I'm wondering, like, should we? should we actually be like, well, don't expect breakfast? Or should we just do what it is and keep it moving?
With some men, you have to be upfront and be like, this is what it is. Some of them, you just got to show them. Because even if you tell them, they don't believe you. So you better off showing them and giving them a dose of their own medicine. Like, because they good. Some men are good for fishing it, but they definitely cannot take it. And please, men, don't get thinking somebody is bashing you or wanting to, the angry comments or the little inboxes and stuff. I said some men. Please listen very well. Some men. That don't go for all men, because you do have some men that are upright in what they expect of a woman. They also bring that to the table for that woman. So that don't include y'all that are straight upright and, we talking about them purity mutts, dogs. The back, we gonna bring it back, like you said, bring it back in the day. Them is dogs. Like, those are dogs.
Okay.
They know they're a dog. Or now, in the new term, now they home.
Funny you should say that, because some social media sites, like the word dog, calling men dogs, they'll take it off and say it's offensive. But you can say that they're a hoe all day long.
I ain't allowed to no more call nobody that. I have to find inventive ways to call people that on Facebook.
Oh, you can't do that either? You done got kicked off.
Or I'm going to be off for 30 days.
Oh, Facebook jail. A mess.
They always throwing me in Facebook jail. And I'm like, that, just like somebody just posted a video of a little kid on it. The little kid was cutting up doing stuff. So everybody was commenting, but as soon as I said, oh, I would have whooped that little kid's behind. That flag for 24 hours. Like, huh? All these other folks cussing and saying all kinds of stuff, but y'all want to flag me. Okay, I see how we doing. I see you, Facebook. I see you.
And see, that's why I have other streaming networks, and that's why I be like, y'all just look, Google me, and y'all can catch up, because I'm so over that with hurrying up and deleting people. You can't even say what you want to say because your words are being policed, and it's like, okay, I'm not being rude. Like, stop.
Certain words are being policed. Certain things, certain people, because we still have a lot of the racists that can go in there and say stupid stuff like post an oak. Like, who don't know? No. Post an oak, or this one dude.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Then we got to get back on topic. Go ahead.
It's a white man, and whenever something come on, like on the news on Facebook, he always, post that. In other words, what he's trying to insinuate about us is they should hang him.
Oh, that's what that means? Oh, thank you for the education.
Or something like that, but that's what he meant. That's what he means.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, he can't get that time here, so no, don't even speak to it. I just needed to know what that was. All right, now let's get back to the men with Cam Newton's thing. So, go ahead, Amber. I seen a part of it. You said you think men also expect women to resist their advances, but get frustrated for being curbed. Yes, and then call you out of your name, okay?
Yeah. That's crazy.
But if a woman gives in, then she is a whore and no longer valuable. I agree. That's Amber's comment.
So you basically darned if you do, darned if you don't.
It's crazy.
You a if you don't. You a if you do. Well, you a B if you don't. You a garden tool if you do. It's like, what you want then?
Right. Right.
Do you want a woman that's going to resist and a good wholesome woman, or do you want just that hookup for the night? Like, what do you want?
I think it's a lot of nerve to approach a female, judge her, take her home, or either way, but expect wifely things. Wifely duties. You expect her to be a wife, but you don't want to wife her.
Exactly.
And then here's the thing that cracks me up: when you expect these things to determine if you want to wife her. So we got to put out all this work to say, oh, okay, am I wife material? You know what I'm saying? And ask his approval. And I'm like, I don't know when this flipped and turned. And y'all know I be having my antics, you know, for the listening audience. Yeah, Amber said that struggle of. And here's the thing. So you expect me to show you everything I'm capable of doing so that you could see the wife in me and you can ask me to marry you. But it's not reverse. It's reverse with me. Because I'm looking like, okay, let me see what you can do. Are you here? Are you doing pretty much what Amber said? What you were expecting? Are you doing what's expected of a man in my sight? Right. You know, I'm paraphrasing what she said, but it's like you want this, but you don't want to give anything, and you want to be gone, and you want a wife to sit at home, have dinner ready, you kick it with your homeboys. Listen, she want to kick it with her homegirls too. So you have the bathwater running. How about that?
Thank you. And they're not going to do that. They're not willing to do that. So, yeah. And that goes for the brothers that's already married. I'm going to do what? And you out here playing around doing what you want to do, hanging with your boys doing this. Your boys more important than what I got to say to you. And you think I'm supposed to, boy, bye. That's my favorite word. Boy, bye. They get mad. Boy, bye. Because you have to be willing to meet that woman. And I'm not even going to say halfway. Y'all have to go all the way together. Period, point blank. 100-100. It ain't no 50-50. It ain't no 75-25. It has to be 100-100, 200%, in other words. And a lot of men and women are not willing to do that for the relationship. But baby, let me tell you something. You gotta be willing to put in that work. And if you're not willing to put in that work, then don't expect that of the other person, period. Man or woman.
And that's what happens.
You have to be willing to put in that work.
Amber said that's we were talking about prior to, as far as like proving yourself to him. That's empowering the man and making him and his approval the prize, which is true. And that's what's crazy, because I'm like, what happened? When was that okay? Who said it was okay? And why are we not wanting or expecting what we should expect as females? Like I said before, if we stop looking at dudes with their pants hanging down, that'll change. They'll pull their pants up. But I don't know where that was cool at. Let's see. Amber also said a lot of males prioritize other males in their lives over the woman in their lives. Like you were saying, Nick. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
And that's where I'm at right now. Prioritizing your friends. Where they do that at when you got to rank? Listen, get your priorities straight. Because, and a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people don't listen. In the Bible, it tells you, especially when it comes, they want wife to do this, but you got to be married to get that. And then you have to be willing to put your wife first. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's your wife, your children, then your parents. No, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. God.
There you go.
God, then your spouse, then your children, then your parents. In that order. And people are not willing to do that anymore. Oh, my kids come first and this and that. Nah, baby. God comes first and foremost. You know, and everybody trying to get away from this and that, and now they want to go the scientific way, and yeah, we got to go back to our roots and the ancestors and that.
So go ahead, God. Let's stay there because we bouncing. So right. God, your husband, your spouse, then your children,
then your parents, because a lot of them put their mama on a pedestal above the wife. Baby, you don't sleep with your mama every night. You sleep with me.
Okay, let's go with I don't know, some might, depending on how far you want to go back and what's going on. I done saw some Oprah Winfrey old episodes. So now let me see. Amber said kids are temporary. They are supposed to leave. Your spouse is supposed to be for life. And that is true. And I think people forget about that. I really think people forget about that because you have your child. And it could be, let's keep it 100. It could be that child is not theirs, your spouse's. They may be, it might be a stepdad. And you're like, well, my child was here before you. Watch this. And pretty much feeling like my child is going to be there after you. That's where a female's thought, or let me say a mother's thought, is distorted. Because she's already given up. With a statement like that, you have given up on your marriage already. Because hear me clear. My child was here before you, and they'll be here after you. So you're already saying, we plan on getting a divorce. You walked into that saying that. So we have to watch our words.
You have some men that do it as well. My child comes first. Baby, if you're married, your spouse comes, God comes first, your spouse comes second, then your kid.
And your answer should not be yes. It should say, she said no. Everybody plastering that. She said yes. Everybody congratulations. She said no. Because he told you at that time, my child comes first. Let's go to Amber. A man stepping up as a good stepfather is a blessing to a mother and should be treated as such.
Exactly.
I agree 110%. It's crazy how you sabotage, and there's your self-sabotage. But if somebody is saying that at the very beginning of your marriage, and I think that's why a lot of people say you need to go to marriage counseling, and then you have men who really are like, I'm not going to hear some other man tell me what to do, or a female tell me what to do. That's how the females are. She can't tell me about my relationship. No. But here, counseling doesn't just have to be with the clergy. It could be like a great aunt, that couple, an older couple that's been through and can tell you they have wisdom, what's going on. And one thing I don't do, let me say this. I remember dating a guy, and I'm sure he's watching. He might comment or might not. Yeah, he is. I was dating a guy who had a little girl. Sweetest. He was the bomb. She was the sweetest little girl. However, he had custody of her. And I thought that was amazing. Little girl, not 10, 12. I'm talking like 3. And I watched the dynamics. He understood the assignment as a husband. He did. My problem was she needed him. And she needed that attention because mom was not there. And the situation where how he got her, he needed to. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I got stuff I can offer, but it was a little different because all of her 3-year-old trust was 100% there. So I'm coming in and I have my thoughts of how, I raise children, the whole 9. And I got them, and I'm like, no. But someone that young and that fragile, you got to be careful. And a no to them at that moment may mess them up for the future. So she knows him. That's her attachment. That's where 100% of her trust is at. You need to raise her. And I said that. And I put me aside. I was like, she needs you more than me. You know what I mean? And I don't want to sound rude like I'm not really into you. But I saw that's our future and she needs you and you don't want her to go. And even though he was paying me all the attention in the world and he had her too, we rock with it, but I'm a safety person. So anybody that knows me, I'm a safety person and I'll tell you what that means. I'll give you the example. Being in a car, you have to put your seatbelt on. I'm a stickler about stuff like that. She didn't want to. And it was all fresh and new. And he was like, okay, all right, well, she don't have to. I was like, she really needs to. But I can't be the one to tell her. You have to be the one to tell her. Because that's where that, and I just couldn't do it. I was like, well, with me in here, after y'all drop me off, go ahead and unlatch it if that's what you want to do. But I wouldn't be able to live with myself if something happened.
Right.
So in that situation, when they show you, you know, they say, what was it, Maya Angelou, when they show you who you are, believe them, which I know some other people that said that a long time ago, but I didn't know who the author was, so they just coined her. I just had to put that out there, right? Believe people when they show you who they are. You know, you've heard that, I'm sure. And it was like, okay, I see how this relationship will be, but she needs you more. So in that sense, it was a little bit different. But when you get married, you're right. That's the order. Look, the order of service. That's how it's supposed to be. And just like Amber said, the child is temporary. So now the child is gone, living their best life. But they moved on, and I just wasn't the one. And I was okay with that, to watch it. And he and I are tight to this day. All through, you know, even his other relationships. Tight. And I actually admired the fact, her being a little girl, him raising her, and like I said, knowing the situation of why he went and got her. It was different than the baby mama over there, she calling you at 2 or 3 in the morning saying the baby need A, B, C, and D. The mother was no longer around. She wasn't able to be around. So in that situation, like I said, I got that part and I understood, but I couldn't be that selfish because trust and believe, I am. I ain't even gonna lie. Right. They be like, ain't no I in team. I heard that on the old lady gang. I fell out laughing. They was like, there's no I in team. He was like, but it's an M and an E. I said, I heard that. Mate. So, you know, sometimes you have to say, okay, it's not about you, but was I able to even deal with that situation? I wasn't. So she said no. And now that she said yes. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew. Right. Because I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna put myself aside. I'm not gonna allow. What did Amber say? Let them, you know, my actions. I have to get their approval to show them that I'm wife worthy. You know what I mean? Or wife material.
They're not showing you that they're husband worthy
at all.
Yep, it goes both ways.
It's crazy. But now Amber says, we're gonna go to Amber real quick. Amber says that premarital counseling is a must and a good thing. I agree. It opens the dialogue, things that you don't look at, or, you know, you having fun in they call it the honeymoon phase, but it's the dating is the honeymoon phase. I ain't gonna lie, because I have seen and watched, and we all have observed people be one way, and then as soon as they marry, you be like, wait a minute, what happened? You know? My homegirl, what happened? She don't come over. She ain't loud. She not loud.
That's the person that I met at fun. What happened to that?
Or your friend is single. She's single, so you can't be around her. But the whole while, your friend is the one that hooks y'all up. How about that?
Yeah, and you still hanging with your single male friends.
Now, what's your thoughts on that? I'm not going to talk about that being, you know, being married. You tell me about it, Nick. You've been married, and you, Amber. Amber's going to have to type because, like I said, for the listening audience, and I know y'all love Amber and Nick. Oh, let me say this. Nick, somebody was asking about your personal business, asking me, where you from, Pharaoh and all that. I didn't even answer, okay? I was like, because there's people out there, not to say that person was a stalker or something. I don't know. You told them live. So I know they watching to check you out. You told them, yeah, not me. And Amber, look at there. Okay, so I'm looking at the texts too. I'm paying attention today. They're asking what happened to Amber. So let me share with you what's going on today. She's visiting family members, and they don't have internet service out there, and it's way out in the country. So that's why we're reading her comments. So bear with us. We all doing it. But the crew is here. They're here. All right, go ahead. Nick, you told that man you from where?
Farrell, Pennsylvania. Yes, born and raised. I'm always claim that. Farrell, man, and listen, Farrell raised me, and I'm going to say Youngstown made me, because I started coming, no, for real, because I started coming out my shell and doing, I started doing little things at home, but living over there in Youngstown and being around her, like, for instance, because I started doing plays in college, but when I met you and auditioned for your play, it really started opening up avenues for me in that perspective. And just like being around a lot of people that was really, we got some hustlers in the apparel. I'm not trying to diminish nothing from my hometown people, because a lot of them are doing very well coming up. But I'm always, no matter where I make it in life, if I get to make it to the top, I'm going to always say, Pharaoh raised me because it did. Youngstown made me, because being over there and being around people made me really want to be a go-getter and get out there and do it. So yes, Pharaoh raised me, Youngstown made me.
Let's give it up to the hometown. Right. A round of applause. Hey, Nick, he actually said your last name, so it must be somebody. Well, your maiden last name.
Okay, it's somebody that knows me then.
Hey,
how you doing? How you doing?
Let me say this. I am not going to put nobody's personal business out there. Don't put mine out there. Look, unless something basic. I was reading it. I was like, nah. She going to have to give it to you herself, because I don't want no parts of that. I watch a lot of Lifetime, too.
Right. Listen, if he went as far as put out my maiden name, whoever it is probably know me and they already know how I act.
Well, you know what? Probably not, because they asked the question. So I'm thinking they probably know you like from a long time ago. Like, is that her or is that not her? So
it's me.
Okay. All right. She said it, not me. So don't be coming back looking for me.
I ain't worried about no stalker. I'm way down here.
Well, you know what, though? You're probably not looking for no stalker, because we know that stalker going to be on the first 48. Talk about the stalker.
Thank you. Yeah, I came to that full circle in my life. I got to protect me.
All right, so there you have it. So the names that you see, that's what you get, and they have to give you that information. I'm not giving it to you, so I'm not your girl. All right. I'm not your girl to give out the info. I always, look, I mind celebrities' business, but somebody else's, y'all got that. Handle it.
Celebrity status.
There you go. You are speaking into existence.
Oh, of course. You already know what I got going on yet.
Speaking into existence. There you go. That's it. You are. Let's go to the comments. Let me see here. Oh, a mouse want to do what a mouse want to do, and it doesn't want to click. Oh, snap. Yes, I love it. Okay, Nick. I didn't even say the name, but I guess it's posted it. There you go. Too old to be a stalker.
I see.
Okay.
I know you, sir. But hey. How are you?
Good stuff. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's what it's all about. See?
You said I'm too old to be a stalker. I know that's right.
Right. Absolutely. But you know what's good? Now, see, guess what? There you go. It was addressed. See? I did both sides. Boom and boom. There you go. And I'm out. Deuces, look, I'm like, and I'm out of it.
Comments in the audience comments.
There you go. Now, the Amber, so what's your thoughts on that? And that viewer, the too old to be a stalker guy. Tell us from a male's perspective.
Yeah.
And an older male. Do you see the difference in this generation versus your generation? And is it okay to just, for a female that's even trying to be a wife, is it okay for her to just put everything out there do you feel that it's okay to put everything out there to show you what she's capable of or not? What you could potentially get, because it got to be more than Dizzle for me.
Exactly.
Like, get out of here. That mug might not work one day. You know what I mean? You might get a little older and get sick, and then what? You don't know how to change a tire? Help us.
You don't know how to change a tire.
Yeah. Help me. What do we do? Talk to me, ladies. You talk to me. He talk about other stuff.
Yeah, he definitely knows my family on the other side. But yeah, come on, from a male perspective, let us know what's going on.
Okay, so
come on. I know ladies watching, y'all jump in too. Don't get scared now.
Right. Let me tell you. Let's go to Amber's previous comment. Excuse me, guys. She said she don't do opposite sex friendships while in a relationship / marriage. Acquaintances, yes, but friendships, no. Oh, elaborate. Let me see. Can we hear Amber? Amber, say hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm in for the moment. For right now.
So answer that. Elaborate on that. Where you don't do opposite sex friendships.
There's different levels to relationships, and so an acquaintance, is someone you kind of talk to sporadically. Friendship is deeper, it's more emotional, it's more intimate. I don't think that's appropriate when you're in a relationship or committed, especially depending on how you two met. Like, if it was a potential romantic connection and it didn't go nowhere, I think that's being disingenuous. I think most people, not all, but most people, there is attraction, either emotional or sexual or intellectually, from the opposite sex. So, and it doesn't have to be both parties. It could be one person has an attraction and the other one doesn't feel that way or whatever. But I just think that, and then when it's like, I think it's very problematic. You can seek counseling and friendship from so many other sources than someone that is a potential
threat to the relationship.
Could potentially become a problem in your relationship.
Okay, now interesting you should say that, because sometimes, like, I'm friends with people, and you did touch on one person can be attracted to the other person, but it's not mutual. In cases as such, and if it's the guy and he's in a new relationship and you still remain friends with that person that wasn't interested in you because they weren't attracted to you, wouldn't that be an issue with the male?
Or the female too. Some females.
Okay, wait. You know we got to get Amber the floor when she can talk. Go ahead.
Y'all breaking up.
But we can hear you. Keep talking.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, but what was the last half of what you said?
The last half of what I said was that what if the guy was attracted to the friend, and the friend never was attracted, and then the guy moves on to a new relationship, and the girl that he's in a relationship with, wouldn't that be an issue with her man? And why would you continue to pursue that if it's him that you think that likes that girl or liked her?
Well, it's not even things, it's factual. And I think it goes back to being genuine and honest about previous connections. Like, oh, we met on a dating site, but that doesn't mean anything. The fuck? No. Yes, it does mean something. Like, be honest. Be genuine. And I think when you connect with someone, I'm the type of person where all of my male friends, and these are like guys that I grew up with in elementary school, they know that I'm in a relationship. There's boundaries because it's about respect. And so if you're in a relationship and you have a woman in your life, I'm not speaking for nobody else. I'm speaking for myself. I would have a concern about that because, like, why are you still talking to her? Like I said, there's a difference between an acquaintance and a friendship. Mm-hmm. If you just kind of want to keep in touch forever, but to me, that's kind of back burner. And man, they'll circle back 5 years later, 10 years later. That's what I'm saying. And so it's just like that. Dudes will wait in the wings for eternity if you let them. So it's definitely an issue with your man, and that's something I would consider a red flag.
Okay.
Because I don't get down like that. I guess I'm more traditional.
Is that traditional?
Yeah,
I'm learning here.
There's more division between the sexes. If you look at other cultures, a lot of African cultures, Asian cultures, there's a greater division between the set. Like if y'all are married, if this isn't your spouse, like why are you all socializing and doing all this, that, and the other together, unless it's with the intention of, finding a partner. Yeah.
So do you think that your spouse is your best friend?
What? Say it again?
Do you think that your spouse is your best friend? When you say traditional, so I'm asking.
Yes, I definitely think your spouse is supposed to be your best friend, for sure.
You think so too, Nick?
Yes. But like in my case, I have a male best friend. I have two best friends, female and a male. All of my husbands knew about my best friend, and they know that's what it is. That's it. That's all. His wives know me as best friend. In fact, that's my brother. And he introduced me. This is my best friend, but this is my sister. And we get that, we make that. That's understood from the gate. Just like my really good friend, ex-fiance, when he introduced me to his wife, this is my friend Nick, she didn't find out until later on that we were actually engaged. And then she had asked me about him. She's like, I didn't know you were telling me you were engaged. I said, she's like, I didn't know you guys were in a relationship. I said, yeah.
Wait, whoa, slow down. I'm in a stick shift. I got a down shift. That's your brother? That's the one that you're best friends with now?
No, this is a different friend.
Okay, wait. They follow me. So that's not your, okay, because I was under the impression that, kind of like with Amber, while she was like, no. So,
no.
So that particular person you were engaged to, that's not your best friend, right?
No, that's
okay. All right, because we on this and you went somewhere. I'm like, whoa, wait, I'm lost.
I'm still going according to what she was talking about as well with that situation too. But everybody, they all know my best friend is my best friend. That's like my brother. I'm like his sister. All of our relationships, that is understood.
Okay.
They know that. They ain't never been nothing but brother and sister relationship. That is my male best friend.
Okay.
On the other aspect where she was talking about, you have to be honest and upfront with your relationships about somebody that you're friends with that you were in a relationship with. I'm honest and upfront about that. And at that point, when she found out, because she saw a picture that we took at his mother's house, and that's how she found out that we were in a relationship. And then when she asked me, he was like, yeah, we were engaged, we were supposed to be married. And so I noticed that her attitude towards me changed a little bit when she found out that we were previously engaged versus when she thought we were just good friends.
By rights.
To let her know. And I understood, and I was like, and I don't think he meant to withhold that from her, because we just go right off the beat, because number one, we grew up together. He's, a couple years older, but we grew up together. We ended up in a relationship. We ended up engaged, and then he moved away, and, life happened, and we grew apart. But he's always reached out to me. Whenever he would come in town, he would come see me, my mom, everything, and we've always stayed very close. And I let the others know as well. And, of course, husband number 2 and husband number 3 did not appreciate me being friends with him, and I can understand that, but I'm like, there's nothing going on, because if anything was going to go on, there would have been no 1, 2, or 3.
Well, I don't know. It might have been. You know how my thoughts are. It might have been a 1, 2, or 3.
We'd have been married.
Okay.
So there's nothing going on there. We're friends. And so I could feel sometimes, and he'll stop when we'll talk and everything, and it's like, I love you, girl. Hey, love you too. And then but I never exclude her in the conversation.
Okay, let's go to Amber. Let's go to Amber real quick. Go ahead.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like you said, she found out not he disclosed that you guys had a sexual relationship.
Right.
To me, that's off the rip a red flag. That I do feel like that was probably intentionally withheld from her. Because even if you guys are, if you're best friends or whatever, but if y'all have history, you have history together. So he was dishonest with her about y'all's history and the extent of your previous relationship. Y'all are best friends now, but he didn't disclose that. So if you're with a man and you're like, oh, this is my best friend, and you know, y'all are kiki and everything, and then come to find out later you were sexually involved, you were previously engaged, I would consider that like a betrayal. I mean, yeah.
And you know what?
Cool.
You know what's interesting with that? I'm glad you shared that story too, Nick. Why didn't he disclose that information early on? Because he knew it was a problem.
Well, no.
Exactly.
He introduced me after they got married because I had moved away and they got married. When I came back, he finally, I saw him and he introduced, oh, this is my wife, such and such, and I gave her a hug and we went to talk, and it wasn't until later on that she realized, but yeah, you're right, he should have told her, but I don't think at that time it even came across his mind because, out of sight, out of mind, I had been out of town. So it wasn't an issue until I came back and she happened to see a picture of us together after she met me.
Now, I got to say this. Thank you, Amber. See, I love both of y'all. Y'all be enlightening me. Because before I was with Nick. Because I could be friends with people of the opposite sex. Actually, I get along better with guys. Because it's not a whole catty type stuff. And if y'all don't agree, oh, I'm mad, I'm not talking to her, that's your chicks. Dude's like, oh, all right, cool. So, and we can agree to disagree. They feel their way. I stand my ground, they stand theirs. And it's cool. And most of the time, like I have one, I told you guys, I shared that best friend story. And I did move back. That's how much of a best friend I was. I stepped back and let him have his relationship, remember? Because the girl was pregnant and all that other stuff. And I knew he liked her for years. Mm-hmm. So I stepped back and did come to find out years later the child wasn't his. So he ended up being totally devastated because he found out after the child was grown. And he felt like, our relationship wasn't the same after they split up because they were together for a long time. And I liked her. And I was actually, no lie, I was offended. I was offended, but I loved his truthfulness and his honesty. Men will tell you the truth. Listen, she said blah, 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 blah. So at least I understand. So you're not allowed to come over no more. Huh? I felt some type of way. Because I'm just not that person. I have never been that person to smile in your face and then kick it with your dude behind. I've never been that person. And I think that's why I say, no, people can be best friends. If I'm a friend and you introduce me as a friend, like my homeboy got married. I was so crushed by that. Not because I didn't want him to get married. I just didn't want him to marry her. And the reason is because she disrespected you. And as a female, I'm going to go to the comments. I see y'all. As a female, I'm looking, you my boy. Like, I got you. But if a female calls you out of your name dating, if she calls you a what, Nick? Thank you. I love her. If a female that you're supposed to be dating call you the B word, that is that is it. Once your woman call you the B word,
that's how she think of you.
Yeah, the respect is gone.
Exactly.
It's
There's no
gone.
You know what? I would say you don't know. I mean, that's what you're saying, but you don't know what led up to that or the circumstance. If they were in a bad fight or something, I would just say, I don't know. It sounds problematic and concerning. But what did he do?
No, wait, listen. Listen. Listen, I'm glad you brought that up. You got a lot of other curse words, mother effer, a-hole, all that. But the what word, Nick?
Biatch.
That? You calling your man who's supposed to protect you? A female dog? The respect is gone. You can be anything else, but when a female uses that word toward her love, that's a problem. I don't even know anybody that calls their son that word. That's degrading. And lack of respect done. And he married her anyway. So, And I was at the place, honestly, and I know that he loved her. That I saw clearly. But you got to know you're not going to be respected. Now, and those were the things that were leading up. And as a best friend, he would share that with me. And had he not shared that with me, I'd probably have been okay. You know, with it. But he shared that with me. I'm out in the parking lot. It's midnight. He outside his apartment talking to me in the car, you know, at the window, sharing this. And I'm trying to walk him through it. I was like, listen, when you see one red flag, it's usually a parade to follow. Come on. You got to see what it is. And if your relationship is verbally abusive now, and like you said, Amber, give or take, you don't know what led up to it. But if you have a personal issue, because I asked that question, if you got a personal issue that happened in your life that I did not cause, and you're upset about it, and here he made an excuse to why she called him that word. That's to me, that's verbally abusive. And you have succumbed to that. Because clearly this is not the first time. And I said, so you're making an excuse as to why she disrespected you, and it's because of what somebody else did, and she wasn't feeling it at the time? That's a problem.
Big problem.
And that's why I was like, no, go ahead, Amber.
I wanted to speak on the other side of it, and this is whether you're male or female. You have to take responsibility as to why you're allowing yourself to remain in that connection, to tolerate that kind of abuse, to allow their history and their previous trauma that validates them traumatizing you when it actually doesn't.
What history?
So, I mean, a part of your growth is taking accountability and say, you know what, I'm allowing this. I'm allowing her to treat me, and I'm prioritizing her past trauma over how she's traumatizing me right now in this moment.
Listen, you know I had to say, I'm like, what past history? It was 6 months.
No, I mean, he's had her previous relationships. Exactly. And that's why she was calling him out his name. So he's saying, okay, her previous trauma from other men supersedes the fact that she's traumatizing me right now in this moment. And a lot of women do that. Whenever you're in a situation like that, you can't sit here and say, okay, well, they're going through XYZ, they experienced XYZ, and that's why they're treating me like this now. That probably is why it's still unacceptable, though. You can understand it and rationalize it, but that at the end of the day, it's still unacceptable behavior.
And I would have left. And I wanted him to leave. But he didn't. So, and they're still doing their thing. So guess what? I have to accept it. And in situations like that, I do, because that's my friend. So I want them to be, hey, we had a comment up there. I accept it because that's my friend, and I know that he needs a friend. And I'm not going to abandon him because he decided to do that. But I just don't like people being mistreated. And to me, even if you're dating someone and you do have children, and we talked about that, your children are gone, and, you know, after a certain amount of time, they leave and they go start their own family. I get that. But if you have a request to not do something, and that person that you're dating does it anyway, knowing that your children may have an issue, and they do it anyway before you marry them, and you know what I mean? I think that that's foul. That right there says they're doing what they want to do, and they're setting the precedence for that relationship. Like if you see these red flags or these signs at the very beginning, and if I asked you, can you please, or let's say this, I'm allergic to peanut butter, but you continue to make me a peanut butter sandwich. You don't know how bad my allergy is. It may be anaphylactic or whatever, but you still do it. You don't like me. That's how I feel. You don't like me. Like, listen, you got to know, people, we're spiritual beings, and people are jumping the spirit. That spirit will jump in your body, and you be like, okay, wait, are you here to help me or hurt me? And like I said, back to what's going on. So know what you're getting into. That's the moral of that story. Know what you're getting into. And if you see these red flags at the beginning, don't sign a contract to deal with these red flags for the rest of your life. Because you know your whole relationship is going to be an argument. Or somebody's going to be unhappy. And Hey, listen, if I see already I'm unhappy and looking at this, you got to say what's important. Is money important? Some people deal with things because they want stuff. We can work for stuff. And you sit in that emotionally abusive relationship or however it is, if you guys don't think the same, you have different morals and values, counseling is important. If you see that during the dating part, like, okay, I understand we could be brought up differently, and I get that, but you're not going to constantly say, well, we come from different backgrounds or upbringing and think that I'm supposed to say, oh, it's okay and go their direction. What about coming mine? Yeah, and I feel this way too. And I know y'all probably disagree, but that's all right. If it ain't working at the beginning, I am not about to sit there and sport a ring just to say I got one. And Nick sips her drink and with ice in it. So you got to get out. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. You got the floor, Nick, on that one.
That ring ain't worth it if you are being abused or if you're not getting everything that you're supposed to get out of that relationship, out of that marriage. That ring don't mean anything. That ring could cost $20,000. Guess where it's at? In the box. I'm not going to put up with any type of disrespect. If you expect me to respect you and do what I'm supposed to do as a wife, you're going to do what you're supposed to do as a husband. All the way around. That's where we come back to that full circle where it is not 50-50 when you're married. It's 100-100. You both have to, because and I know they say, well, the two becomes one. You're right, but still, the two still have to put in 100% to become one.
She got a number 2 pencil. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, Amber.
So it's still 200%. No matter how you see it, it's still 200%.
Go ahead, Amber.
I wanted to add on to what Nick is saying, and say that as a godly person, or as if you're a believer of whatever, your spouse is not supposed to complete you. God is supposed to complete you. Your spouse is supposed to be a companion and a life partner, but you have to be complete within yourself. So you, sometimes a lot of people will put too much pressure on and think that they're supposed to make them happy or keep them happy, when your happiness is supposed to come from within you. And if you need comfort and support, the first person you're supposed to go to is God. And then, you know what I'm saying, your spouse is supposed to help you out with that, but not be all end all. That's not the correct dynamic for marriage.
Right.
Okay, and that's where the problem's at. That's where the problem is at. You have people who feel like or forget God. They say they don't, but they do, because their daily decisions are clearly theirs. And I just have my thoughts on relationships and being friends with guys. But I see both ends of it, so we're going to wrap it back and bring it on back. Can opposite sex be, friends and not cross the line? And I shared mine. Amber shared hers. Nick shared hers. Nick, you sharing yours opened my eyes, and hopefully to some of the viewers, of why it's important and why they feel that way. Because I never understood why people felt like Amber. I'm like, because if it was going to be something, it would have been, you wouldn't be in the picture. That was always my thought. However, it took me back to a memory that I had. Let me tell you, I was so disappointed. There I go, my disappointments. A friend of mine, I highly respectful, and I respect her. And I was clearly her friend because she confided in me. And she had her brother. Her brother would come and visit, right? And when her brother came to visit, she shared with me something. She shared with me that she was pregnant and didn't know who the father was. because her brother stayed at the house and he would come and visit because they were best friends, and her husband knew that they were best friends. But when she shared with me that she slept with her best friend, so they've been sleeping around, and her best friend is in the house that her husband, he bought for the family.
Okay, now.
So wait, let me finish. And then you're right. When that information was shared with me, and this is my first time bringing it out, and I will never say the names, okay? But when you have a husband that's a good husband, and good or bad, you're still married. You have a husband, and this man is 2 doors down, and he's been a constant all the time. Brother. I was totally shocked when she shared that information. And I'm like, you sleeping with your brother? And she was like, well, that's my best friend. We used to date in high school, blah, 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 blah. But that's more than your best friend. He's a constant. And how disrespectful is that for your husband? You made your husband look crazy because you're disrespecting your husband. Now, that's what you want to do, but you got this man not just in town staying in a hotel. He's staying in the house, eating your husband's food because he's going to work. You're not working. Dealing with the children that you and your husband have together. And you sleep with him when your husband go to work. And I felt betrayed. And it wasn't even me because I never thought that she would do such a thing. So now I'm understanding, like, that's something that I would never do. And everybody's different. So there are females out there that's a little different. And I can understand that, but that is I think that's where men feel like no, or some females say no. They're not with the friendship, of opposite sex because of something in the past. I believe you still can, but you brought that up, jogged my memory. And I was like, oh, I do remember that. So guess what happened? Guess what that did for me, though? It has me like where I am now, my thought process, when somebody is homeless and needs some place to go. They can't come to me. I'll put you up in a hotel for a week or two, but you cannot live with me. And that's what I learned from that. And while Amber was talking, and then when you brought up yours, I was like, you know what? I don't let females stay in my house. No, you can't. And a guy told me, he said, you don't have to be physically attracted to a female, but when a female and a male are in each other's presence alone, he was like, it can happen. And you're not even attracted to that individual. It's just a male, female. And I appreciate him for sharing that. And he shared that with me a while ago. I was like, oh, he was like, you got to stop having, a guy told me that, he was like, you got to stop having your cousins with your man all the time. And you be like, I'm about to run to the store or whatever, or them, a cousin living there, and you got a male that's in the house and a female, and it's not just on the male. But if you had the urge and it's there, boom. And the analogy that he gave me, he said, what if you, and he said another person, which was like, heck no. He said, was the last people on earth. He said, if you two were the last people on earth, would you sleep with them? I was like, no. He was like, you would. He was like, if you get that urge, and he said you would. And I thought about it. I was like, oh.
I think that it's, and not only that, but I think for men it's definitely like that, but women not so much, but more so, like you said, that constant, and then you're going through a low in your relationship. You're having a weak moment because we all have weaknesses. We have weak moments. We have, struggles. You've already laid the foundation for that to transpire.
True. Let's go to the comments. Art Baldwin said the Players Club movie was proof of that. Yeah, the little cousin.
That. But going to what you said, the guy said that if you were the last on earth, listen, we just be the last on with me. We just be the last on earth because if I'm not physically attracted to you, then there is nothing physical that's going to happen. That's just me.
You said physically attracted to you. And it matters, but some people have been attracted to some ugly people when they make them laugh. Because I dated some not so attractive people. But their heart was good and their personality was fun. And you'd be like, okay. You know, and I got attracted to them that way.
About that. We was just talking about that, and that's my personal opinion. Like, I'm not going to not date someone just because they're not the most attractive person, especially if they have other qualities to make up for it.
Uh-huh.
You know, so attraction is, and like I said, then on top of that, you're in emotional distress, you're having marital problems, you're having problems with your man, and then, there they are, the constant, reliable, patient, always understanding, because you're not in a relationship with them.
Right.
It's a lot easier to be patient with somebody when you're not dealing with them in that role. But yeah, you definitely don't have to be super.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. You can't handle it.
The best friend knows everything, and we never broke that boundary. The good friend, the one that I was engaged to, we were there. That was in our past. We moved past that. And in fact, after wifey found out and got over the initial shock, I mean, she still sometimes said, but I've been invited to house parties. I've been invited to kids here and everything. And that's why I said I can separate that because me and best friend will never. We will always be brother and sister. Period. Point blank. In a conversation, we will never go there.
Okay.
Me and good friend, we will never go back there. We are both at that understanding that our time passed for whatever reason.
Okay, so with that being said, Nick, do you think he should have let her know and pretty much asked permission? You know, not really ask for permission, so don't get me, go off. Do you think that he should have actually allowed her to make a decision to see how comfortable his new wife is with you being around?
Right. And, some men don't think because they're just like I said, we started out as friends in the beginning. So, I don't think he did it intentionally. Knowing him, you met him.
Okay. Okay.
That one. He didn't, knowing him, I know he didn't withhold that information from her intentionally.
Okay.
When he introduced us, this is my friend Nick, and me and her was cool. We were all in college.
Was that that's what I was going to say. Was that like high school or something?
What, when we were together?
Uh-huh.
No, we didn't get together until well after.
Okay, so grown. So you were grown. Okay.
Yeah, grown, yeah.
Okay.
But, so I don't think he intentionally withheld it with her. Some people they don't think about that. And it wasn't until she actually saw a picture that the question even came up. And then that's what she found out. Oh, yeah, we were engaged.
Okay.
She did find out from him, but I don't think he intentionally withheld it from her. It was just an afterthought. I don't think he meant it. It didn't come up when we got introduced. It was it came up this is my friend Nick. We grew up together and just went from there. It wasn't until she asked that question. So with him, some do intentionally withhold things, but with him, knowing him and the type of person he is, it wasn't intentionally withheld. It just didn't. His mind was, he cued in on friend mode. This is my friend. And just went from there. I mean, she got past it. Whatever they talked about at home, that's their business. That's their marital business. But she obviously got past it to the point where I've been invited to the house.
Okay.
Both houses, the new one and the other one, been invited to parties.
Okay, so the trust factor is there.
Right. Because I also let her know, listen, sweetheart, the same thing that everybody said. And I had to tell, my husband and the ex, listen, there is nothing there. Yes, we were engaged, but if it was truly like that, we were really meant to be married, we would be married, and neither one of you would be in the picture.
And that's the one that you would go with, but I got to go back to what Amber said. After, when you broke it down, it's a difference if you slept with this person in the past and there was some type of relationship. But if it wasn't, then you just be like, okay, I'll deal with it.
But yeah, like they got to because we don't look at each other like that anymore. Even though we both know,
Girl, you can talk about that till you blue in the face.
But
Lord, we still that new one on the
when they feel, which I understand.
On the side of that female.
But for me, him, we're just good friends. Period. Point blank. I don't.
Okay. Let me tell you where this is coming from. Monica and C Murder. Now, Monica, she was with C Murder for a long time. You know, they were dating the whole nine. You know, he got life in, C Murder rapper. He has life in prison. She still visits him. And she was married. But she still goes and visits him. Now, they had a previous relationship. How do you move forward? And if you were her husband, would you be okay with her visiting another man? And there, you know, some people were, you know, commenting and saying, well, he's in jail. He ain't getting out. So that's, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to become of that. Well, to me, that's false. It's false because he's still alive. He can write letters. He can get her mentally. So how you're married to somebody who is mentally connected to somebody behind bars that she can actually see. How do you progress in that marriage? Go ahead, Amber. Oh, wait a minute. There you go.
I had because of background noise. I'm sorry. I completely agree with you. Just because they can't physically have or it's very difficult for them to have a physical or sexual relationship doesn't mean she's not having an emotional affair. That's what that is. And I think it's highly inappropriate as the husband, or if you're the other spouse or whatever, it's highly inappropriate. It's a no. Just a no. And I also want to say that it's good to bring up. I've gotten to the point when I'm dating, I bring that up after the second date, I would say. Second, third date. Like, are you the kind of person that keeps in touch with your exes? It's a yes or no question. It's before either one of you are invested emotionally in a connection. And if it's something that bothers you, you'll know that they're not the one. So I think, again, just like I always talk about communication, it's one of those things you should communicate pretty early on in your relationship, in your connection, as you're getting to know each other. Because I don't think it's something it's not something you can control. It's not something you can change. Just like people's family dynamics, whether they got kids or not, what is their religious beliefs. You can't control none of that. You need to accept it or reject it. So it's better to find out in the beginning if they're the kind of person that keeps in touch with their exes.
I hear you. Okay, and that does need to be established. All right, let's hurry up and cover Wendy. Wendy Williams, and this is alleged, of course. Wendy Williams is coming back, ready to come back. I hope she really is. Problem is, they're saying that she can't get a hold to her money. So my question to you is different. You know, us right now being celebrities, we still know where our money's going, right?
Right.
We writing our checks. We looking like, okay, we don't need anybody to control our money. Now, I got to say this. Oprah said, always sign your own checks. Oprah Winfrey said that. And in this case, Wendy cannot get a hold to her finances. And I ask you, how do you feel about not being able to control your own finances? And go ahead.
Bull. That's straight bull. I don't care how big in life you get. You always, like Oprah said, control your own money. You can have all the money people in the world working with you, but you got to get an understanding with that person. I'm always going to be in control of this. I just need your help. But yeah, you got to get that established from the gate. I don't need no. That's crazy.
Okay, Amber.
Oh, I said this is a story, like a case of a man bringing a woman down. I just feel like I know, you know, he's helped her with her career and he helped her with her.
Oh no, this is not her. This is not her ex-husband. She got a new person. She need to call that. She need to call that ex-husband and be like, "Hey, can I have some of my money back so I can get going?"
Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm never ever going to put myself in a position where I got to ask somebody else if I can get some of my own money. You got me messed up.
It's almost like that. What is that Britney Spears had going on?
With her dad and all that, yeah.
You're muted, Amber. Conservatorship. Thank you.
Conservatorship. And is that what she had because she had her illness?
You know, it's really interesting. I don't know that, but that's an interesting point. Like, they feel as though she can't make good decisions right now because of what was going on with her illness. Don't know, but that story's going to unfold, and as it unfolds, I'll keep you lovely people informed. The what's his name went through something similar. You hire an accountant, and this is what I think of with like your Red Foxes, Wesley Snipes, Steve Harvey with the taxes. You hire an accountant, and they backdooring you, and you thinking. Also, go ahead.
Rihanna's song, "Bitch Better Have My Money."
Yes.
Also.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, Rihanna, she brought it with that one. But yes. And like Steve Harvey, I seen him, he was talking about what had happened. And it's like, are you paying attention? He actually was. His accountant would tell him how much was going out. He saw it signed. They were backdooring him, taking like, let's say some small number, $8,500. Okay. So $8,500 I have to pay in taxes. I don't have to pay that much, but I do got to pay. And I got how many days? Monday. Let me hurry up. But so he would see that he signed it and he's like, okay, $8,500. Then when he would check his account, he saw it was being removed, but the check wasn't sent to the IRS. That amount was just removed out of his account and it was going into their pocket. So he was getting backdoored. Bend that big A over for the shot. I love you. No Vaseline, huh?
You are signing. Make sure it is addressed to who it's supposed to go to.
Well, but watch, it was. So the check was signed. The problem is, so you go to your account, you sign the check, you see $8,500, and you see the check who it's written to. Problem is, it was pulled out that amount. But if you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, they're paying because remember the accountant. So you gave them the okay. So you know, okay, the accountant pulled that out. That's going there. He was backdoored. He was totally backdoored with no Vaseline.
So what? So he
like on your bank statement.
To the accountant or to the IRS themselves?
Even if he wrote it for the IRS, you have an accountant that you hired. So, okay, let's say it's one of you guys. And I know, prime example, I know this amount. I'm like, okay, Amber, can you handle blah, 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 blah. She's like, yeah, I got it. So I know that Amber pulled that out because Amber has access. So I'm looking and I see it's removed. I'm assuming, because we already had to sit down and I signed, that's for the taxes. He had gotten done for several, I think they said like 5 years. You know, something to that effect. He got backdoored, but they were so clean with it that it was, you couldn't tell. So that was somebody that was paying attention and trusting somebody else. That's why I be like,
the money, you don't trust nobody but God. That's what it seems.
Hey, listen, that's what it's showing.
On the dollar bill.
Listen, right, he was reminded. Look, he was reminded every day he came in there with that check. He does say, God, we trust. Put them dollar bills back out there and not that checkbook, right? I ought to get you know what? I'm about to get a checkbook. You know, I got my little Mickey Mouse stuff. I'm going to have to get one to say, in God we trust, just to keep saying, oh, look, you know what I mean? Reminder. Now, let's talk about this quick. Will Smith, 10 years. We didn't touch base on that. 10 years suspended from the Oscars. Do you think that that's fair as far as for the slap?
No, it's not fair at all, especially since he can still be nominated and still win.
Okay.
So what was the point of excluding him
10 years.
The actual ceremony for 10 years.
Yeah, because like I would have been like, whatever, I can still be there. That's not a bad one.
Nominated, and I can still win one.
Okay, Amber, your question, because we gotta keep moving real quick because we're running out time. I'm getting the notification.
I think they made an example out of him. I think it was harsh and unnecessary. And there was other people that have done the same, if not worse, at the Oscars. If you actually dig into the Oscar history, this is not the first Oscar scandal to occur. But that's what our society does to black men. So I'm not surprised. I hope nobody else is either. They're making an example out of him.
By rights, they should be. You slapped somebody. You assaulted somebody, though.
But there have been other, from what I understand, there have been other assaults at the Oscars.
That's all well and good. But you assaulted this black man that's up there. And kudos to Chris. Like I said, I stand on what I believe. At the very beginning, he is very professional. And I'm happy he responded the way that he responded. He has children. So let's go to this one. Chris has children. Did I think that he was going to let it ride? I didn't. But I believe it's a lesson. This is a lesson. And he had to be the person to present the lesson to the masses. And I think he's going to sue. Because like I said, he has daughters. So him having, I don't think he has a son. I've seen the two daughters, so beautiful little girls. It's like, because they're going to get ridiculed. In school, oh, your dad got slapped nationally. And Chris actually made that joke, like, this is going to make great TV. And how it's going to be, going on for a long, long time. So his grandchildren, great-grandchildren, oh, yeah, my grandfather, he got slapped at the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? So what will Chris do? What will be his get back? Get them in their pocket. And Chris, if you don't plan on suing, go ahead and do that. Get them in their pocket to let people know, guess what? I don't have to fight you this way. All fight is not physical. Let me get my money, get paid. Go ahead, Nick. Give me my cash. That's it.
You know what? I'm tired of the whole situation, but I'm really mad at Jada because when she finally spoke and said that she didn't want her husband, that he acted irrational. Bitch, you had ample opportunity to grab him when you saw him get down.
Yeah.
You sat there, and the look on your face when Chris said what he said, and you saw your husband laughing until you looked at your face. You knew what he was about to do. You knew he was going to react some type of way when he looked at your face and stood up. And then for the fact that you sat there and laughed, you didn't think anybody caught that, but baby, there's cameras on everybody at all times from all angles. It came out. You laughed when he went up there and slapped him. Now you want to sit there and throw him under the bus.
That's bedroom talk to me. You go home.
But you don't
Wait, Amber, I'm going to let you talk because we know that you might go out on us. The thing, and to me, she should have told him, that's bedroom talk, pillow talk. Listen, you did overreact. Don't put that out in public. You're supposed to have his back.
And she has
exactly.
Go ahead, Amber.
And you know what?
Go ahead. Wait, Nick. Go ahead, Amber, because I cut her off. Go ahead, Amber.
To me, this is an example of a gaslighting dynamic because everything Nick said is exactly right. How is she going to sit here and flip-flop and flip the script? And when it's she laughed. She was happy. She laughed out of him. Okay? And now she's coming out with a public statement talking about he should do. I don't need you to protect me. Girl. I think it's gaslighting. And yeah, that should have been pillow talk. That should have been private. She should stand by your man.
Yeah.
Stand by your man. You're not supposed to sit here and put him on blast publicly. Come on. I was so irritated. Oh, Jesus.
Now, I want to hurry up and talk about this real quick. Congratulations. Let's get a round of applause to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yes. And guess what? Just because I want y'all to read and look out and research, if you don't know who Ketanji Brown Jackson is, go ahead and research it and read it. Okay? I'm so excited for her. Here's what I'm not excited for. Yeah, it's going to be something with the ShopTalk. When she was interviewing, when she, was, I don't want to say nominated, but I guess, yes, I can say nominated, person of interest, she was Ketanji Brown Jackson. Right? And then, I guess they was like, oh, yeah, black. Then they found out her husband was white. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Once she got in, Why are we now, and I say we as public figures, social media gurus, we all are. What happened to the Jackson? Did she file for a divorce? Are we just like negating the fact that she's still married? Like, why are we doing this? So now it's like Ketanji Brown. Yeah, that's who you remember back in school. Why is she is still Ketanji Brown Jackson. Can we address her as such? Go ahead. I see the pencil. Go ahead, Amber. Why do we do that though?
I think that some people have a real problem with the fact that she is married to a non-black man. I was going to say what I was seeing was the kiss. The kiss her husband gave her after she got nominated on her forehead. And that went viral.
Yeah, it did.
So uncomfortable and offended by it. And I think...
Is that why they let go of the Jackson? Is that why they let go of the Jackson? Yeah, because of the endearing uncle kiss?
What?
I said, is that why they let go of the Jackson because of the endearing uncle kiss on the forehead?
Yeah, no, it was very tender, and I did see another picture of her go viral where she was crying because I know that she was getting roasted, like they were going in on her because she had a lot of opposition, and they didn't want her to become, they didn't want her to get appointed or whatever the technical term is.
Mm-hmm.
So I know she had an up battle to get appointed to the Supreme Court, and I think that the community.
Yes, girl, community.
The community has a problem when you see a black woman being successful and having receiving affection and protection and support from a non-black man.
Now, you know what I looked at as the forehead kiss. This is what I looked at. He probably didn't want lipstick on him, or they had a conversation where he didn't want to mess up her lipstick, and you know how those pictures get out, with the social media. Mm-hmm. That's how I took it. I said, oh, they had a conversation. I didn't take it offensively, but here's what I got to say about our community. So they got her like she's not married. Remember when Kamala became, you like, oh, I forgot all about her, right? We terrible. Listen, like who? Wait. Oh yeah, there we go. Where Kamala actually, she's married to a white guy. Mm-hmm. We were rooting for her. Almost like that Tiger Woods thing, remember? Yay, we doing it. Then they let you know what their ethnicity really is. And they're like, oh, okay, well, wait, they're not black. What's happening here? I was still rooting for her. I'm rooting for you. Woman of color, I'm rooting. Yay. And women, we like the females winning. When she was in, it was like, rah, rah, rah. We're excited. Yay, yay, yay. Found out she was married to a white guy. Was like, oh, no. She ended up being everything in the book. That's our community. She's not black enough. Then, now you have Ketanji, who, like I know her, right? Who appears black enough, because y'all remember we talked about that. If you light skin, you ain't black enough. Was fine. And then she is married to a white guy, and it's almost like it's diminished, like her blackness is watered down. Why do we do that? What happened to the cheerleaders? Because people were cheering. And then it was like you found out, and these are people that I've communicated, with in my community. And they said, oh, she's married to a white guy. What happened? Why is she watered down? If she's married to a black guy, or if Kamala was married to a black guy, would you be still cheering like you were on 10? Go ahead. Y'all got the floor. Anybody, step right up.
The whole point of this is no matter who she's married to, she is a woman of color and, like you said, a woman. That point blank period, and the fact that both of them are, just be happy. Like, people can't be happy for people anymore. Like, back again to that crabs in the barrel mentality. Like, when are we going to get over that? And our people are especially good for it. Why? What is it in the black community that we can't just So now you're diminishing her blackness because both of them, because they're married to a white person. That don't mean, I don't care if she was married to a dog. Well, no, let me take.
Yeah, you know the animal rights and people come get you.
But the point I'm trying to make with that is she made it. We were cheering her on and she made it. Now you mad because you feel like because she's married to a white man, so what? It's still a woman, a minority woman. So, like, and she made it to the platform that everybody was cheering her on for. So, like, I'm just over the whole thing. Like, people make up your mind.
Right.
Like, people are so indecisive nowadays about things. And that's what it is. We got a problem with indecisiveness. It's like, if it don't fit our narrative, it don't matter.
And that's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Everything is not going to fit your narrative. Either you going to be for it or you going to be against it, but you make sure you stay that way throughout.
All right, hey, Monique is back. The comedian Monique. Her and Lee Daniels made up. Are we excited? Or are we still like...
I was never mad at her. So.
Okay. What about you, Amber? Amber said...
Yes, I've never stopped supporting her, so I'm glad.
All right, so we are happy that Lee Daniels publicly apologized to her. I still feel like her husband was doing some extra stuff, though. But go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, on that tip, though, I think she should be very weary of him. I think she can accept his apology and be, graceful and rise above. But I don't think she should work with him no more because I think he's problematic and he's shown his true colors to her.
I agree. What we talk about with Maya Angelou, air quotes there. When people show you who they are, believe them. How she say it, Nick?
Believe them.
Big time. Hey, listen, Coachella, what you know is going on right now. Well, how do you feel about, they were paying, I want to say $8 million or something, or $8.5 million to Kanye, and then he pulled out, they had to find somebody, and then they replaced it with the Weeknd to perform, and with a significantly lower amount. Don't know the amount that the Weeknd was offered, but do you believe that the Weeknd should have been offered the same amount that was offered for Kanye? More than Kanye?
More because he was a last minute person.
Okay, go ahead, Amber.
Kanye's the one that caused you distress.
Okay, go ahead, Amber. What's your thoughts real quick?
I think it's all about the money. It all comes down to star power and how much they're pulling in. The Weeknd can't pull in the crowd that Kanye has historically, and he doesn't have the star power that Kanye has, so he's not going to get paid as much. It's really simple.
And it's a great platform to say you performed at Coachella. It's a great platform for the Weeknd. I do like what Nick said. Nick said more, but I'm sure they probably weren't going to offer him that. But if you were planning to pay Kanye over $8 million to perform, and I came in to help you out because you weren't going to have a performer, why wouldn't you pay me the same amount? It's already in your budget. That's just my thoughts. Go ahead.
And then why wasn't his manager negotiating on his behalf? That seems like similar to Monique's situation. Like, somebody don't know how to move at the negotiation table, because that could have been brought up. He could have been making more as a last minute fill-in or whatever, but that's not what happened.
Okay, let's go to the comments. Art B said, we ain't never satisfied. It's about right. It's always something. Like, come on. How do we get out of this? Real quick, we're going to talk about this. I want to know. Childhood memory of Easter. Dyeing the Easter eggs. How did you dye your Easter eggs? How did you go with the memory? Go ahead, Nick. What did you need?
A big old spoon, a big old plastic bowl with the vinegar and the coloring or food coloring. If you didn't have the kit, you got food coloring, and with a big old and boil the eggs. You had to boil the eggs, but with that big old spoon, make sure you put the egg in there and dip it in the thing. If you didn't have the little egg thingy that you drop it in. We went old school for real sometimes, and we didn't have that. But yeah.
Okay.
It's not an eggs that way.
All right, Amber, what's yours? Dyeing Easter eggs.
Same. We only did it a couple times. Most of the time we went to church and did our eggs, and we had our egg hunt at the church, so we didn't really do it that much at home.
Now, you know what? That was fun. That's a great memory. The Easter egg hunt at church. We always had ours after choir rehearsal, because choir rehearsal was on the Saturday. And then you had the Easter egg hunt, and we had a Janola. Miss Janolia. I think I'm saying it right. Hightower. Amazing. And she would, we would dye the eggs in the kitchen at the church, and it was fun. But we also did it at home. And we had that vinegar. They don't use the vinegar. They got kits now.
Yeah.
And you got that.
The kits when we were little,
but them kids had that little, that little wire thing, because I guess like the spoons.
Yeah, that's what I said, the egg thingy.
And the eggs so heavy. Are the eggs still heavy? Because our eggs bit that little wire. Are the eggs heavy or are they fake eggs? Because everybody.
No, they don't seem like they as heavy anymore.
Yeah, everybody on diet. I don't even know. Is it like air? Are we like visualizing? Stuff like, oh, okay, these are fake eggs for, I guess, vegan. No shade to the vegan people. Don't come after me. But, like, guess what? These are not, they're late. This little wire can hold it. What are we doing here?
Right.
I'm wondering. I should go buy a kit just for the heck of it to see if I could work with the kits with the colors.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to have some fun today. So we're going to dye some eggs for the silly rabbits. But we know it is resurrection. Happy Resurrection Day coming up tomorrow. But
amen.
Okay, let's keep it, for what it is. Hey, listen, let's go to the footnote. Today's footnote is actually from our own Amber. Yes. Best comment, too. Happy Easter and protect your eggs. Do you remember saying that? Protect your eggs. Protect them because, listen, right? Protect
your eggs.
Protect them, okay? And it's so interesting how a rabbit can lay colorful eggs. And for those who don't know, like, how did the rabbit come in? People want to know, how did the rabbit come in? Why is this about Easter? How did this stuff happen? I do know. Do you know? You want to do it, Amber?
Right, yes. So the rabbit came in with the Greeks and Greek mythology. And a rabbit is a sign of fertility because they make babies like rabbits. This is supposed to be I forgot what it's called, but it's a time of the year when everything is starting to grow. It's the beginning of spring, the spring equinox.
Yes.
The spring equinox is what it's called. And so to symbolize that, the growth and the fertility and everything's multiplying, is that they use the bunny. And that's how Bunny and Easter came together.
Now, how did the colorful eggs come into play? Do you know, or you want me to cover it?
I don't know that. So I'm happy to learn.
Okay. The colorful eggs is just representation of spring and the beautiful colors that grow. So there you go. Piggybacking, that came years later, of course. And it just represented, like you said, fertility, the eggs. Fertility, just like you were talking about. And the coloring of the eggs was acclimated years later, and that's just representation of spring. So happy spring to you. That's what all that fun stuff is. That's what I always say for those who don't know. I'm like, let's bring it back because I got to teach you. I'm all about the festivities, though. A girl likes to party, okay? All about the festivities. So I'm going to do all the extra stuff, but you got to teach our youngins how it was derived and what Easter really means, and it is the resurrection of Christ. All right? All right, lovely people, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do every single Saturday. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people, ShopTalk. You had to hurry up and hit that unmute. And
hurry up, unmute.
Yes. Enjoy your time, Amber. Enjoy your time without the internet and a wholesome Easter Sunday to you. Fun stuff. Y'all gotta play fun games. Disconnected from the world.
I'm leaving. I'm going home.
She said she leaving. She going home.
Ethan will be enjoying the no internet, okay?
You going home, huh?
I'm out. I'm going home.
Bye, y'all. Hey, listen, this is the show where it's okay to be you. Make sure you like us on all socials. We are everywhere. And also on your favorite podcast, you pick your podcast and you'll see Shop Talk with Mel. And on some podcasts, you'll see less Shop Talk. But when you see Shop Talk, you'll see your girl. Check us out. We always have a good time. And we'd love for you guys to be a guest and chime in. And you can always do so. Write this number down. Write it down for the people without the internet or the cell phones right now. 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. And we also have the Battle of the Sexes Luncheon and Day Party from 2 to 6, and it'll be in my hometown, the Youngstown, Warren area. So you guys come check it out. This year we're talking about monogamy in the millennium. How we do that? I got you covered. We're going to have a great time. Fun games. Bring your man if you like to, because it'll be fun games for couples. And also, Mingo City. Let's do it. Peace.